The beta's methodology ties back into his need for feminine identification in his disqualifying a competitor. Essentially, he relies on feminine ways of disqualification by drawing upon his likeness to the women he hopes to emulate, thus, he believes, furthering potential attraction through an opportunity to prove how well he identifies with the feminine. The competitor may not be gay, but he must be cast as inferior to the beta himself due to his competitor's inability or lessened ability to identify and empathize with his desired female as well as he does. With alpha competitors, the field has already been plowed for him by feminine social conventions. All he need do is plant the seeds. The fact that the alpha tends to embody the masculine opposite of what he's embraced also feeds this drive. His belief is that women aren't attracted to the macho tough guy. They want a man who's kind and thoughtful, a good listener. So the natural recourse is to amplify this disparity. The alpha is a 1950s Neanderthal throwback. He's bitter. He's a misogynist. He's a child in a man's body with a fragile ego only interested in fucking women and moving on. He's unlike anything on women's collective, stated list of prerequisites for an acceptable male. He must be ridiculed, as all women ridicule, for his selfish, overt hypermasculinity. Furthermore, the beta needs to make the alpha seem common, while making himself seem unique. In order to effectively disqualify an alpha, the beta has to display his empathy for the feminine, and she must appreciate it or it's all been for nothing, which it usually is. Not only is this an ego preservation mechanism, but it's also perceived as a tool for achieving the desired sexual reciprocation appreciation he desires. Interpretation. All of this really just scratches the surface of how beta game has evolved. I will add that all of these methods come back to a common root: the need to breed under the duress of competition. Most of what I've gone into here, and primarily the feminine identity association, become ego-invested and internalized over the course of a lifetime. It gets to the point that under the auspices of relative anonymity, like the internet, that the beta will still cling to his mental model, even in the face of a very rational, empirical evidence that contradicts the effectiveness of his game, for no other reason than that a woman, a potential mate with whom he could identify, might read his post and may become attracted to him. The game is never dropped for him, even in light of proving his errors. Beta game is like the boy who decides to play on the girls' team when a boys versus girls kickball game is started. He thinks it will endear himself to them, when all it really does is make him another girlfriend to giggle with. Everyone has a game in some respect. The validity of that game may be more or less effective. But at some point, a man is going to adapt to a methodology of seduction as per his conditions and environment warrant.